Watch Mr. B debunk this Muslim in 2 minutes.
Now I want you to explain to me how God can die.
God can't die.
Excellent. Did Jesus die?
Jesus died, but
Was Jesus God?
Yes, Jesus is God.
So God can die according to you?
God can't die.
Explain.
What you're trying to do, you're trying to make me...
It's a logical fallacy.
No, it's not. because
Explain.
Jesus has two natures.
Okay, what died then?
The human nature, the divinity is still there.
So if the human nature died, his human body died, where is your divine sacrifice?
I wish I could talk more.
You're speechless, clearly.
I'm not speechless.
If his human nature died, and the human nature is not part of the triune God, then where is your divine sacrifice?
The human nature is part of... Listen, I gotta go.
He's baffled.
I'm not baffled.
The Muslim in this video clearly thinks that this is a gotcha moment. In fact, the video is titled Trinity Debunked in 30 seconds. Wow, that's a pretty big claim. So let's pull out the red pen and see if it works. It's not surprising why this argument is so appealing. After all, it seems to show that Christians affirm two contradictory ideas. On the one hand, if you say that Jesus is God, then you must also believe that God can die because Jesus died. On the other hand, if you say that God can't die, then Jesus can't be God because Jesus died. So what's wrong with the argument? This reasoning relies on an equivocation of the word die. An equivocation, for all you logic nerds out there, is the fallacy of using a word in two different senses in an argument. In this case, the word die is being used in two different senses. Webster's dictionary defines die as pass from physical life, but it also defines die as pass out of existence. If this Muslim asked me, can God die? I would reply, it depends on what you mean by die, and it depends on what you mean by God. You see, when terms are not clearly defined, people end up talking in circles. This video is case in point. So can God die? Well, God can't cease to exist. In that sense, God cannot die. Well, what about the other sense? Can God die physically? Well, a non-physical God cannot die physically. Since Christians believe God the Father and God the Spirit are not physical, they cannot die in that sense either. However, Christians hold that God the Son took on flesh and dwelt among us, as John says. The one divine person of Jesus has two distinct natures, a fully human nature and a fully divine nature. This is called the hypostatic union, and it's because of the hypostatic union that everything experienced in the two natures of Christ must be said to be experienced by the one divine person. So the one divine person of Christ, for example, learned to walk and talk since he's the subject of everything experienced through his two natures. Okay, so can God die? Well, if we're talking about God the Son incarnate, and we're talking about physical death not ceasing to exist, then yes, in that sense, God can and did die.